and welcome to the Keys Please podcast.
A podcast about the perks and perils of first home buying.
I'm Maddy, a psychology student and compulsive planner.
And I'm Tom, a maths student and definitely not a compulsive planner.
In today's episode, we are going to discuss ethics and money. So hi, we're here again. It's actually, we're tricking our listeners today. We're going to pretend that this is a week after the last episode.
What do you mean?
Actually, it's a day after the last
No,
episode.
it's a different week. The week starts on Sunday.
So, yeah.
So yesterday was a different week.
So I've decided that, I don't know, like this weekend, I felt particularly podcasty.
Yeah.
So we decided to record it today.
Yeah, we're grinding for you listeners.
On the hustle. No.
Always on that hustle.
Okay, alright. But before we get into the episode, I just wanted to touch on something that happened in the previous episode last week or yesterday.
It was last week.
So we talked about how people are using video chat more because of the current situation, obviously. But we were wondering why people aren't using Skype.
Yeah, we did bring up that. Like, why Zoom, which is just this random app no one's heard of
no one
before,
had ever heard of it. Maybe like
ago.
some people, but yeah,
Not us.
Definitely not us, and definitely not the majority of people that I know. So I found this video. I was like on a YouTube rabbit hole fest, and I found this YouTube video about how it was called The Rise and Fall of Skype. I think I'll link the episode, not the episode, I'll link the YouTube video in the blog post that corresponds with this episode. But yeah, it basically just went into detail, probably too much detail than you probably care about, but like it was interesting.
Yeah, if you're really passionate about
The Rise and Fall of Skype.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. But it was interesting. So it was first like independently owned, and then eBay bought it, and they bought it for like a lot more than it was worth because they thought they could see it growing into something bigger. Anyway, it didn't grow into something bigger. They sold it for what they bought it for basically, but 4 years later. So, and they probably lost money on it, to be honest. And then they sold it to Microsoft, who bought it for way more than it was worth. They bought it for $8 billion, I think,
nice.
even though it hadn't even made that much money
in its
ever.
whole existence.
Yeah.
Right.
Had a hard time transitioning from being a free service to a service that then made money. Microsoft still owns it now, but now like video chat things like Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Teams is like popular now. So I think they probably just put more money into that rather than putting more money into Skype, because that includes their like brand names. That's probably better.
I didn't even know any of that stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah. So, but obviously check out the video. There's a lot more to it than what I just said. But anyway, so this week we're discussing ethics and money, which is like a very broad topic.
Yeah.
So
fun. Everyone loves ethics.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I actually found it fascinating a little bit.
And money. Most people like money.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very broad topic, so we won't get to everything that we want to today. But, like, obviously, if there's some things that we decide deserve a whole episode, we can always do that later.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think. So, the first point that I wanted to touch on was ethical decision-making regarding who you bank with and who your super is with.
Yeah.
Mainly just because I want to brag about how I've transitioned to an ethical bank and why I think you should too. In fact, this whole topic bit is just going to be me talking about how you need to make this change, and if you don't want to make this change, you may as well just skip to the next bit because, anyway.
It's just an opportunity for Maddy to flex. It's what it is.
Look, no, okay. Serious though, I have been with ANZ since I was like 13 or 14. I'm not sure when I opened the account, but I didn't open the account. The account was opened for me by my parents, and I didn't get the bank card for it until like 2016, which is probably a good thing because I then I didn't even use that till I was out of school. In school, we spent like no money.
Yeah,
somehow.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we were always at school.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't have jobs.
But I
we
feel
didn't
like
have money.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, that's true.
You can't spend money you don't have.
Yeah. Switching banks was probably the first adult decision I've made without being like prompted to by anyone else. So, yeah. I mean, in saying that, the reason why I decided to switch banks was kind of a prompt in itself. So I went to this screening of this documentary called 2040. You might have heard of it. It's really good. You should definitely watch it.
So what's 2040 about, Maddy?
It's basically about how we have the power to help the environment right now. And it's based on the writer and director's vision of what it could be like in 2040 if we started implementing these strategies right now. And the strategies that we already have. So I found that interesting. Like, I've always thought, we got to find the solution. But, like, we have the solution currently on how to deal with the climate crisis. We just need to do it now.
Yeah, we were talking last week, and, yeah, we do have the solution. Let's just get a pandemic, and then emissions slow down.
No.
That's not the solution?
That's not the solution.
Okay. So what are the solutions they suggest?
Well, to get a broader view of the solutions they suggest, you should probably just watch the documentary. I kind of want you to watch the documentary anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting.
I might get around to it.
No, we can watch it together.
Oh, yeah,
so
okay,
that you
I
definitely do.
It, yeah.
It actually was really cool. At the end of the documentary, it like had a bunch of websites, and then one of the websites was the documentary's website. And so you go onto there, you answer some questions about your personal situation, and then it provides you with like a plan of action for how you personally can help tackle the climate crisis.
Yeah, I did that bit.
Yeah, Tom did that bit. So one of the suggested things for my personalized list was that I should change my bank. Well, it was like, check that your bank is ethical or change it if it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can do all that stuff online now, obviously.
Yeah, so yeah, the fun thing about it was like I literally didn't have to talk to anyone, which was amazing.
Yeah, and also like right now it's hard to like
go into your
a bank branch.
Yeah.
It's like not exactly something people want to or maybe should be doing.
That's a good point. Yeah, so it was good that I could just go in to the website. It was so easy. I did it in like an hour probably, but I think that was just probably because I was getting distracted. Like, I'm sure you could do it in a shorter time period. And then I've just been like transferring my money. I still have the ANZ account, but I've just been like transferring the money into the ethical one over time. So the account that I changed to was Bank Australia, which is the one that the website recommended. But I have like a website that lists all of the banks basically in Australia, and their like ethical status, or whether they've like said where their money goes and stuff like that. So and when I say ethical, I mean they're not contributing to like businesses that require fossil fuels and stuff like that, or produce fossil fuels and all of those things. So so I'll link that on the blog post so you can figure out if you need to change your bank and do that if you would like.
So apart from it being recommended to you, why did you pick Bank Australia?
Their website was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's an online bank, so they don't have to like worry about like branch fees and stuff like that. Their money doesn't just like, they're not just carbon neutral, they also like invest in ethical investments. So like cool. Things related to like reducing emissions and stuff like
renewable energy.
Yeah, that kind of thing, renewable energy. They don't invest in products that relate to like nicotine or alcohol or any of that stuff. Interestingly, this is super, but when I was investigating ethical super funds, which is a lot harder to do than investigate ethical banks for some reason, like I found so many ethical banks, well not so many, but like a lot of at least carbon neutral banks. But then super funds, it was hard to like find out where they were putting their money, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Except for ones that were like branded as ethical. So the ones that were like, yes, this is our brand, like this is our name. Like if it was in their name, they would tell you exactly where the money was going. But if it wasn't, it was really, really hard to tell, and there was no list online that you could look up like there was for banks. But one of the super funds was like the Christian super fund or something, which is fine. I think some of the stuff that they were running was to do with like anti-abortion related stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to like make sure you're okay with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I wasn't going to invest there, but anyway, so I was like honestly surprised about how easy it was to switch banks, but I was also surprised about like when I recommended it to other people, they were so hesitant. They like really didn't want to do that. They thought it like they didn't even say why really. They were just like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that. Even though to me it felt so easy. So I just like I wasn't sure exactly why that was the case. It felt like something that was so simple that you could easily do to help the climate.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, stuff like that kind of it is easy, I guess, and it only takes like one sitting to do it, but it's sort of like the trouble to like go to like work out what you need to do exactly and then follow through and do all the work to do it just feels more difficult than it actually probably is like after you've done it.
It was so much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so, I guess people are quite loyal with their banks though. Like I feel like yeah, and not just that, is that even though Bank Australia is amazing, I mean it doesn't get the best returns, which is like they're not bad returns. It's just not like the top returns. Like if I wanted to like actually, if I was like putting money in a bank to make money, I probably wouldn't put it there. I'm not going to lose money, but I'm not going to make as much money as possible. But that's kind of the whole point. I feel like if we all sacrifice a little bit of that interest that we could have made by like investing in bigger banks, then that's probably better overall anyway.
Yeah.
Because in the end, that interest is like interest on your money that you already have, but it's not your money. Like it's interest that comes from having it in that bank account. But if you just had that money at home, you wouldn't get any interest anyway. So it's yeah, it's like enough interest to keep up with inflation.
You
basically.
don't like necessarily get much interest from a regular savings account.
No.
Either do you. So I guess if it's a long-term deposit, it like you might make some interest. But
well, I have an online saver account with them, and that earns interest, but not as much as the ANZ online saver account did.
I do like having the CommBank app.
Well, Bank Australia has a really good app as well.
Okay.
On a side note, they have this really cool thing where you can like try to you can select round my money. So when you buy something that's like for $4.95, it will round it up to $5 and add the extra 5 cents into your savings account.
Yeah.
The Barefoot Investor recommends ING, and for so long I was always going to go with ING, but then I like on the website I'm pretty sure it just says that they have not made a statement regarding where their money goes.
Well, if you haven't made a statement, that's pretty sus.
It's probably not great. So I decided against that, even though I know the Barefoot Investor, who I really like the book, is quite knowledgeable on the subject. I know that's probably the best one for like making money.
Yeah, right.
But I just,
I don't think the extra like $5 or $10 you might make per year on interest is like going to be the difference.
No. For me, it's worth knowing that what I'm doing is like ethical.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I also wanted to change over my super, and I was like wanting to change over to Future Super, which is like an ethical super fund, and it's like the only ethical super fund I was able to find that wasn't like heavily religious. So I don't know if you guys have any like ethical super funds that like show exactly where their money is going. Please let me know. Like I would love to hear about them, because I would love more than one option, because it feels a bit weird just having one option to go to. But the fee for Future Super is like $90 a year. And as someone who's a student who currently doesn't have a job, and when I do get a job, it will probably be casual. I just currently justify spending $90 a year on a super fund at the moment when I could get one without a fee. Yeah, when you don't have too much in super, it's good to go with student. And you're a student, it's good to go with student super because they're free under $1,000. Yeah, so I picked student super, and they're free under $1,000 and very low cost for over $1,000. Yeah.